is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on a Veterans Day in downtown Charlottesville, the flagship show of the I Love CVille Network. We're going to talk a lot of storylines and topics tied to Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia. We have an anonymous donor pledging $1 million to the Virginia baseball team. That's an extremely healthy donation for baseball, a non-revenue sport. Heard a tidbit the other day that football and basketball, the money-making programs at the University of Virginia, and all other programs at UVA except for the squash program lose money within the athletic department. So $1 million donation certainly can go a long way for a baseball team that is a national championship caliber program, but from a profit and loss standpoint, operates in the red. I'll give you that stat again. It's football and basketball moneymakers for the athletic department. Squash is third in the pecking order, yes, the squash program, and all other athletic teams at the University of Virginia lose money. So in this era of name, image, and likeness, and this era of anonymous donations, and this era of donations tied with naming rights and collectives and marketing and all that, the fundraising piece is critically important and perhaps as important, if not more important than ever before. We'll talk Chandler Morris. I am following in touch with Jerry Ratcliffe to see if we can get an update on Chandler Morris's status, the quarterback that is right now maybe concussed, maybe in a protocol, certainly uncertain, certainly questionable for a Duke football game on Saturday, 3:30 kick, ESPN2, where the Blue Devils, ladies and gentlemen, are a 6.5-point favorite. You heard that correctly. Duke is a 6.5-point favorite in what is a must-win game for Virginia as they make a push to potentially an ACC championship. We're going to talk on today's show about this $1.2 million clean team out of Louisville, an ambassador program for the downtown mall. It's starting to get some resistance and some heat thanks to a Charlottesville Tomorrow news article or coverage on their website. I think we'll take a pro and con stance. I believe Judah's anti-clean team.
Kind of feels like they could have kept this in house.
Michael Payne aligns with your thinking there, Judah Wickauer. 4 councilors voted in favor for the $1.2 million. 1 councilor, Michael Payne, voted opposed to the $1.2 million taxpayer allocation to an ambassador clean team for downtown Charlottesville. We're going to talk on the program Dave's Hot Chicken, opening in 5th Street Station. Dave's Hot Chicken, guys, is a much beloved and followed brand with a fantastic social media presence. The grand opening is Friday in 5th Street Station. We are hearing some rumors about 5th Street Station, which we will potentially relay to you on the talk show sometime this week. I want to kind of dig into those rumors and that hearsay a little more and confirm them up and solidify them. They are coming from really very legitimate sources. A lot we're going to cover on the broadcast. It's the water cooler of content and conversation for Charlottesville, Central Virginia, and beyond. It's the I Love CVille Show. We'll give some love to Conan Owen and Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Another happy client and tenant of ours is currently doing business with Conan Owen of Sir Speedy in Central Virginia with a new lease we've signed for the Wells Fargo building, this one with a acclaimed and noteworthy therapist in town that's choosing to rent some office space. And this tenant is going to have some signage done at the Wells Fargo building on the downtown mall with Conan Owen, the owner of Sir Speedy of Central Virginia, who is a Darden graduate and helps our firm and our tenant portfolio with all their signage needs. Anything logo-wise, signage, window decals, vinyl, direct mail, stickers, lanyards, uniforms, you name it. Conan Owen and Sir Speedy of Central Virginia can help you out. Studio camera, Judah Wickauer, then a 2-shot, if you could please, Judah Wickauer. A lot I want to cover on the broadcast. I'm curious to you. I ask you the same question each show. I'm curious which headline most intrigues you and why as I'm texting with Jerry Ratcliffe about Chandler Morris's injury. Judah Wickauer.
Well, I'm curious about the lack of support for the downtown clean team. Not entirely surprised. It's a lot of money to spend, and as some people have noted, I think most audibly, Councilor Payne, that that the company that will be hiring most likely locals to do this work is not local, the company itself, and they don't have any type of program for they don't have anything in terms of how they pay that would match would match something like a union.
What, the ambassador program in the downtown mall needs to have compensation tied to union standards, is what you're saying?
The point being that if this was a local company using locals, then it would likely be unionized.
And it would probably come in at a much higher clip.
Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, and do we have, and I'm just playing devil's advocate for the sake of a talk show here. So if you're watching this program here, Charlottesville Tomorrow, the nonprofit news website, has sourced and interviewed people that are opposed to $1.2 million taxpayer allocation. This allocation is going to a company out of Louisville, Kentucky. This Louisville, Kentucky company, starting ASAP, is going to be ambassadors for the downtown mall over a 2-year period of time. As ambassadors, they're going to interact with tourists and people that have questions about comings and goings on the mall. Their responsibilities will also include cleaning up downtown Charlottesville, potentially interacting with the houseless. This $1.2 million taxpayer allocation coincides with the 50-year anniversary of downtown Charlottesville, which is next year. We are now 45 days removed from the 50-year anniversary of one of the most prominent and prestigious downtown malls in all of the country. I mean, that's just fact right there. And City Council wants to celebrate, City Hall wants to celebrate and champion downtown Charlottesville in the best way possible. Some of that allocation is going to be tied to marketing. Some of that allocation is going to be tied to decoration, lighting, banners, advertisement, and some of that allocation is going to be tied to an ambassador program in downtown Charlottesville that clearly needs it. Michael Payne was the only vote on council that was opposed to this $1.2 million allocation. $1.2 million is less than 1% of the budget, and this is a 2-year period of time. So in the grand scheme of things, this is like 0.4% of Charlottesville's budget. It's a drop in the bucket. But nonprofit news organization Charlottesville Tomorrow that is funded by, let's be frank, liberal donations. I mean, ideologically very liberal donors and larger outfits nationally that fund nonprofit news sites that have liberal ideology themselves. They source content, and they do a good job. I'm not throwing shade on Charlottesville Tomorrow, but they position content that's out there that is far left, and they have come up with an MO that this 1.2 million is not well spent. That's the whole MO of the CVille Tomorrow article, which is the basis for today's show, at least the lead of today's show. And in that basis, you're basically saying, and I'm going to pass the baton to you, that if taxpayer money was allocated to people working in this community as opposed to an out-of-market firm, it would have been money better spent, and or that 1.2 million could have been better spent on mental health or resourcing the houseless community that right now is on the downtown mall freezing and temperatures in the teens. Is that pretty much it right there?
There are a lot of people that have a lot of different ideas about how that money could be better spent or whether this is the right place for it. I think the article does a pretty good job of showing the different sides of it and not really taking a stance on placing their bet one side or the other.
I mean, it's obvious that downtown Charlottesville needs a clean team. We walk downtown. It's not clean.
But could they expand on what the Charlottesville Parks and Recreation crews already do?
asking the Parks and Recreation, and make sure lower thirds are on screen, asking Charlottesville Parks and Rec to be the clean team in downtown Charlottesville seems to me to be a recipe for disaster when it's Parks and Rec that's currently responsible for keeping downtown Charlottesville clean.
Maybe that's because they don't spend enough hours working at it. Because
is it the same Parks and Recs department that's responsible for keeping Tent Town on the Rivanna River and the Rivanna Trail from materializing? From discouraging it? Isn't it the same Parks and Rec that's responsible for keeping Meadow Creek Golf Course and tent towns around Meadow Creek clean? I mean, there's numerous examples. How about the water park that's routinely closed because of sanitary concerns? Is that Mead Park? The Mead Pool, the swimming area?
Yeah, Mead Park.
That's routinely closed. I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade on Parks and Rec here, but on the 50-year anniversary of one of the most prominent and prestigious downtown malls in the country, that's a fact. There's not many of them. Just out of a numbers game, they're prominent and prestigious Charlottesville's. Having a clean team the clean team from Louisville specializes in this.
Yeah.
And it specializes in this. I mean, you can make the argument. Viewers and listeners, put your comments in the feed. Judah Wicker, I'm not trying to cut you off here. Very curious to hear a legitimate argument why this allocation was terrible, was a bad move. Because to say that it should have been done in Charlottesville through a union format, to me, that would only mean more costly, the clean team, if it's a union format.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you have an outside company, the money is not only going to the people that they hire to work here. The money is going towards their programs, their training programs. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but some would argue that that money could be defrayed.
So if you were on council, you would have voted in Payne's camp against this allocation?
I don't know that that's necessarily how I would have voted.
How would you have voted?
I would need more information.
You have the information. It's $1.2 million taxpayer money to a firm out of Louisville, Kentucky, to serve as ambassadors of downtown Charlottesville for 2 years. One of those 2 years coincides with the 50-year anniversary of the mall. Mm-hmm. And their job is to serve as champions or ambassadors of the mall while also cleaning the mall and potentially interacting with the houseless.
Yeah.
Should that allocation have happened to a firm that specializes in this, that are essentially subcontractors, not employees, or should it have been done in market with Parks and Rec that are employees that also carry the additional overhead of vacation, overtime, sick leave, health insurance, and all the other pomp and circumstance that comes with payroll associated with an employee versus subcontractor? This is one of those decisions where I genuinely think City Council showed fiscal financial responsibility. If it was someone in market that was hired to be the clean team, it would have been much more costly, would have yielded overtime, would have been tied to union negotiation, would have been more money out of pocket for taxpayers, and it would have been personnel hired that were less nuanced at this, because this is all the Louisville firm does. That's, just my 2 cents. I feel like that argument is backed in logic and reason. I do have a text message here from Jerry Ratcliffe, which we will highlight later in the show. He's at the press conference with Tony Elliott. He says Coach Elliott is hoping Chandler Morris will be able to practice on Wednesday, which is the cutoff. If he cannot practice Wednesday, then they will likely start Danny Kalin, the backup quarterback, against Duke. Right now, Duke is a 6.5-point favorite. I'm very curious to see how the betting line, 6.5, moves with Danny Kalin, the starter, as opposed to Chandler Morris, the starter for Virginia football, in what is a must-win game. In fact, I am going to go to check the betting line as we speak and see if the line has moved now that Tony Elliott's press conference is over. It has not moved yet. Let's see if it moves based on Chandler Morris' status 6.5 on a Tuesday. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. Put them in the feed. I'll relay them live on air. Jude, if you have anything additional that you'd like to add, please do. This is from number one in the family, Deep Throat. He says, to say that the downtown mall's problem is it's not clean is evading the issue. The issue is 25 to 50 people who behave very badly. We need to be rid of them. Everything else is just shaving. For a $1.2 million, you could buy these 50 people one-way bus tickets and a few $1,000s to get themselves sorted in, say, Toledo. If indeed the reality is, as the folks at Livable CVille like to say, homelessness is simply a housing problem, okay, let's house them in Toledo and see how it goes. I'm sure they will be fine, upstanding citizens, once they can be mentally ill and insane under another city's roof and vantage point. Vanessa Parkhill and Carol Thorpe, welcome to the broadcast. Let us know your thoughts and put them in the feed. I think that's clearly tongue-in-cheek from Deep Throat. We know he's a man who likes sarcasm. If the plan was to jettison 25 to 50 people with taxpayer money on a one-way ticket to the Midwest, it would be outcry and outrage with the activist community locally. I do agree with him that the issue Charlottesville has downtown is tied to 25 to 50 people. I walk these 8 blocks 5 days a week, multiple times a day. I've done it a handful of times this morning already, including for multiple leasing tours. And we do have some positive news that we'll put on the I Love CVille Network. We now have 2 leases that we've secured over the last 4 days in a very significant and prominent building in the downtown mall, the Wells Fargo building. 2 incremental new leases, okay? So there's momentum happening there. And in walking this path with prospective tenants, including one tour with a gentleman who I think I can say his name, Richard Fox, who ran for delegate at one time a handful of years ago, an established, an upstanding gentleman in the business community. We encountered a houseless individual that was genuinely either tripping balls or insane. It was 19, 20 degrees. The man was barely clothed, was staggering and screaming at the top of his lungs, doing jumping jacks, running zigzag, screaming gibberish as we were walking to and from the Wells Fargo building from the Macklin building on Market Street. I saw him going there, and 25 minutes later after the tour was done, I saw him coming back as we were heading back to our headquarters here on Market Street next to the grocery store. The temperature was in the teens. He had a short sleeve shirt on, pants, and that's it, and was screaming gibberish and zigzagging up and down and around the mall. The guy I was walking with, he said to me, I actually find this as almost charm or part of the downtown mall, like the human voyeur. Like I like to say myself, I'm a social voyeur. I like to watch human behavior. Had it have been somebody else, I think the commentary could have been completely different.
No doubt.
For example, I won't name the nonprofit, but I did a tour with a CRE commercial tour with a nonprofit locally that was looking to take a fair amount of space. We're talking a multi-year lease at 30,000 for the first year with a 5% escalator on a 3 to 4 year term. We're talking a lease that, without escalators, quick math, $120,000, $150,000, $180,000 lease here, without escalators included. Okay, and everything was going well. 2 or 3 different tours that were done, heading toward signing. And on the last tour, I see 2 or 3 guys from the houseless community literally brawling on the downtown mall. It was a brawl, like throwing punches. Mm-hmm. And that kiboshed what was, for me, probably 6 to 8 hours of work and 2 to 3 tours of effort. And it was because there was a houseless brawl. And guess what? Yeah. It's the same guys. It is the same people every time in downtown Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And it's behavior that's literally on the cusp of criminal. I mean, in that case, that probably was criminal, but there was no police around to see it.
Yeah. And who's going to press charges?
And who's going to press charges? Who's going to go through the paperwork of pressing, the time, the effort of pressing charges? So it's on the cusp of criminal, but not being criminal. So nothing materializes that changes or corrects the behavior.
Yeah.
It's like the kid that lives in the gray area constantly, that is put in the timeout chair with the 2 minutes that's put on the oven timer and said, you can't say the F word, you're 3, you need to go to the timeout chair for 2 minutes that's on the oven timer. And he bawls and bawls and bawls and cries for the 2 minutes as the oven timer is going to 3 zeros and beeps, and he gets out of the timeout chair, and 20 minutes later is dropping the F-bomb again. Okay, that's the world we're living in right here. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. Put them in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. Judah Wickower, commentary that you want to offer. If there was a counselor that was going to say no to this, it's Michael Payne. Natalie Ostrin, her profession is tied to tourism. Downtown is tourism.
Yeah.
Lloyd Snook's office is downtown, owns an office. The former mayor of Charlottesville and the 2-term city councilor, Lloyd Snook, his law firm is downtown, and he owns the real estate. He's right next to us.
Yeah.
Juan Wade, he's not going to say no to this. Brian Pinkston, practical, not going to say no to this. Payne's the guy. And then CVille tomorrow has penned, and I respect the reporting, around sourcing 3 or 4 people that say that this is a bad allocation of resources.
I mean, they talk about Greer. She and a lot of the downtown mall small businesses, local businesses, are all for this. There are 1 or 2 people that one of them actually thinks that this is a way of Trojan horsing in the harassment of homeless people.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
I think it means.
Help me understand what that means.
I think it means that since they can't get the cops to harass the homeless people, this person thinks that hiring this company and having ambassadors on the downtown mall is a way of getting in the harassment of the houseless population without involving the police. Don't know that I agree with that.
That's the second cousin of if you allow a designated outdoor refreshment area and a drinking area on the downtown mall where you can buy a draft beer or a cocktail at the whiskey jar, and then you can walk up and down the mall, patronizing shops or just pedestrianing the mall.
Yeah.
Right? That's the second cousin of what you just said, the second cousin of, a designated outdoor refreshment area. Does that mean that the houseless can paper bag Colt 45s without getting in trouble while sitting in front of City Hall or next to the free speech wall? Like, that's what they're saying. They're saying if you designate the same people that say what you said are the same people that say if you do Jerry's Dora idea in downtown Charlottesville, then you have to allow the houseless population to paper bag Colt 45 next to the free speech wall or in front of City Hall, because that's only equitable and fair. It's literally like...
Yeah,
how do you characterize that?
That's an insane argument that doesn't hold any water.
Just like the ambassadors on the mall are going to Trojan horse the homeless.
Yeah.
Is it not the same thing?
Similar, yeah. It's a kind of a off.
Not in touch with today's real world.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand the thinking. It's like we want to move forward, folks, as a community, especially with the 50-year anniversary. Next headline, what do you got, Judah Wickower? And we should give some love to a downtown business, Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. If you have a hardscape that you need designed and built and just really realized, it's Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. Seen it firsthand. These folks take ideas and they turn them into reality. And the value of a hardscape at your house or your business, like a patio or a fire pit, bluestone patio, something around your swimming pool, something your kids to play on, families to have outside kitchens for, it's not just return on investment, it's return on experience. It's really return on experience. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. William McChesney, thank you for sharing the show. Next headline, Judah Wickower, what do you got?
Dave's Hot Chicken.
One of the most talked about restaurants I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Dave's Hot Chicken. All over Reddit.
No doubt.
all over Reddit. It's the Ethiopian restaurant that's never going to materialize.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And if it's not the Ethiopian restaurant that's never going to materialize on the Charlottesville subreddit, it's Dave's Hot Chicken.
But
Okay.
Dave's Hot Chicken is here.
Opens Friday in Fifth Street Station. Got a little bit of news of Fifth Street Station in the hopper. I do want to confirm it before I put it out there. That's called a tease in the business about Fifth Street Station. But Dave's Hot Chicken opening Friday. Mm-hmm. Hot Chicken is banging.
Soft opening on Thursday.
I've had Hattie B's in Nashville. Curtis Shaver's watching this program. Had a Hattie B's with Curtis Shaver. It was absolutely delightful. Dave's Hot Chicken, I think, is going to crush it. I don't think there's really hot chicken out there.
Not around here.
What is the hot chicken that's available that's out there? There might be a
Nothing
restaurant
that I
or
know
two that has a hot chicken dish on their menu, but nothing that specializes in it.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think Dave's Hot Chicken is going to be wildly successful. And then it leads us to ask the next question with the soft opening Thursday, the grand opening Friday at Fifth Street Station. And the next question is, what is this market missing?
Mm-hmm.
It would seem like there's been an abundance of F&B that it's missing.
Oh, yeah.
I've highlighted this in years past. When is the cannabis-centric menu restaurant going to open?
You talking about like cannabis water?
Cannabis drinks, cannabis cocktails, cannabis food. Someone's going to do that.
Yeah.
There's going to be novelty to it, and that novelty is going to make it wildly successful in its first few years. The question is, can it sustain? Is it a novelty?
You know, they say the first to market.
First to market gets slaughtered, just as Tom from MySpace. Tom from MySpace, although is sitting on a pile of money, someone bought MySpace from Tom.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom went underground and is now probably waving to people like this, smiling in a white shirt, like Tom knows how to do.
Probably loving life if
Okay,
he's...
but MySpace did get slaughtered. Friendster got slaughtered, right? Facebook won the game. What is missing F&B-wise locally?
Obviously an Ethiopian restaurant. We'll be hearing about that for decades.
Let's turn into a meme.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, I'd love to have the hot dog place back on the downtown mall.
The hot dog company? Wasn't it?
No, there was the
In York Place.
no, there was the guy with a cart.
Catch the Chef.
Yeah, that was.
He's back. Tyler's back.
Is he still on
Friend of the program. Tyler Berry's back.
I haven't
Tyler
seen him.
Berry's great. It's got great prices. Catch the Chef. Make sure somebody tells Tyler I said that. Tyler Berry, the owner of Catch the Chef. He's back on the downtown mall.
Cool. I haven't seen him.
He's back. I thought you were talking about, it was the Downtown Hot Dog Company in York Place. Eric Saunders and Jenny Saunders. They have that place in what is it? The York Place in the interior portion, which is extremely challenging. I love a good hot dog. I'm surprised hot dogs aren't more.
Yeah.
I will say this, I know
They're fast and easy.
I know they're a chain, but I've been incredibly impressed with the Emmy Square Detroit-style pizza and Barracks Road. I do think we now have two Detroit-style pizza places, A Squared and Emmy Squared. Very similar names, interestingly. I think hot dog concept could work. I think this Ethiopian meme is just nothing but a meme. What's an Ethiopian restaurant going to do in Charlottesville?
I don't even know what Ethiopian restaurants serve.
Hot chicken is genius. I think hot chicken is going to be extremely successful. I sincerely mean that. What else does the market need? A lot of people say it needs a proper downtown steakhouse. Black Cow Chop House is close enough to downtown.
Yeah.
I do think if Black Cow and Public Fish and Oyster had a love child and they opened in downtown Charlottesville, that business would absolutely crush it. I sincerely mean that. Hint, hint there, Daniel Kaufman. I think that would crush it. There's an abundance of riches here. Yeah. What are we missing, viewers and listeners? Are we missing, now that Peloton's gone, a go-to sandwich shop? Like, Curtis, are we missing a go-to sandwich shop now that Peloton, your baby's gone? Love that place. There's and here's a follow-up question. I talked to the consigliere of a restaurant group that is facing tremendous challenges right now. I'm not going to say which one. You can use context clues to fill it out. But the consigliere of a restaurant group that has vacancies in town, you could probably figure out who that is. And this consigliere straight up told me, sit-down restaurant, that business model is nearly impossible right now. His exact words. Sit-down restaurant, that business model, nearly impossible right now.
Interesting.
So whatever you bring to market, it's going to have to be something that's fast casual, QSR, and completely robust with its digital ordering and digital delivery and digital pickup offerings.
Yeah.
Dave's Hot Chicken, best of luck. That is a chain.
Yeah. No
Next
doubt.
headline, what do you got, Judah Wickar?
And I think some people have pointed out that it's run by venture capital.
You know what the crazy thing is? You want to hear something crazy?
Hmm.
Anything that has scaled markets
Yeah.
in some capacity is going to be run by venture capital.
Yeah.
People fall in love with the what's the bowl, salad bowl on the UVA corner? What's it called? They wanted to rent from us. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, Judah, you got this.
The salad bowl?
Roots Natural Kitchen. Roots Natural Kitchen is UVA grads that are scaling, and their locations are now. This might be Charlottesville's most successful restaurant story. They're in Dublin, Ohio, Roots Natural Kitchen, UVA grads. Morgantown, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, PA, Columbus, Ohio, Midlothian, Virginia, Richmond on the West End, Charlottesville, another Pittsburgh location, State College, Pennsylvania, Blacksburg, Virginia, Richmond near VCU, Newark, Delaware, another Charlottesville location, another Pittsburgh location, another Columbus location, a Chapel Hill location, a Fairfax location. So that is, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 locations. This is Charlottesville's greatest restaurant success story. Roots Natural Kitchen, 2 UVA graduates with 17 locations now. They don't scale to where they're at right now without venture capital.
Yeah.
You just don't have. I was having a conversation on the phone with someone today. It's about like being able to go from location 1 to 2. No, the hardest is going from location nothing to location 1. That's a mountain to climb.
Yeah.
0 to 1 is a mountain to climb. Once you're at location 1, the ability to go to location 2 is not a mountain. It's like a small hill. Because location 1, the fact that you're thinking of a second location means that you're spitting cash flow out. And location 1 can fund location 2. Yeah. When you're at location 2, you might have operations, the first location, and the second location dialed in enough where the cash flow can sustain location 3. But when you get to location 3, the owners, the operators, do not have enough of themselves to run all 3 at once. You truly realize in the food and beverage quick serve game whether you can scale a brand as you go from location 3 to 4 and 4 to 5, because that means the owners are not on site.
Yeah.
And for you to go from location 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 and scale up, it's the VC that's going to get you there. It's not the operating capital, the cash flow from the first locations that are going to help you scale something like that, because you're going to have to hire people. Yeah. James Watson watching the program. He says, I believe a local gentleman who I know will own local Dave's Hot Chicken, even though it's a chain. Also, same owner as Jersey Mike's. You're 100% right. And the Jackson family is bringing Dave's Hot Chickens to market in Virginia, although not the one at Fifth Street Station. Kelly Jackson and her family are bringing Dave's Hot Chickens to market in the Commonwealth, but not the Charlottesville location. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, make sure we give them some love. 61 years in business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They do water testing, although it's pretty cool for water testing right now. Dave's Hot Chicken, ladies and gentlemen, is something I'm excited about, and their upside and success, as I am Charlottesville Sanitary Supply's 61 years of success. They have an e-commerce website, charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com, that is frictionless for purchasing your sanitary needs, and they offer in-market delivery, free delivery, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Their location is on East High Street. They have vacuum repair. They have knowledge, educational, institutional knowledge, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Bill McChesney, how hot is Dave's Hot Chicken? It can get to be really hot to mildly hot. There was chicken at Hattie B's in Nashville that was uneditable hot. But some people were ordering it. Then there's the mild hot, which is leaves a little dance in your mouth. Next headline, Judah Wickhauer, what do you got?
We got there's an anonymous donor pledging $1 million to UVA baseball, which is not as much as it may sound like at first.
1 million?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
And they're structuring it as a match. So if it ends up going through, it will turn into $2 million. The money is supposed to go towards increasing the number of scholarships the UVA baseball program can offer. But it is noted that once it's fully realized, that would be expected to provide somewhere around $80,000 to $100,000 a year towards scholarships, which would be 2 in-state scholarships or 1 out-of-state scholarship. Still, anything to help the UVA baseball program.
I heard through the grapevine from very reliable people, and our sources have proven to be very accurate, that if Virginia football makes the college football playoff, there is an 8-figure donation that is immediately going to follow.
Wow.
If Virginia football makes the college football playoff, an anonymous donor is going to immediately sign a check for 8 figures.
Would that be towards
football specifically? Football
Yeah.
Specifically. The anonymous donations are critical. Anonymous or unanonymous or visible naming rights donations are the only way a school like Virginia is going to be able to compete with the big dogs. Virginia is at this crossroads where it needs to decide if it wants to be a team or an athletic department that competes with, like, Ohio State, Penn State, Clemson, Georgia, UNC, where they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars funneled into the athletic departments, Florida, or if it wants to be in the category of Ivy League, where it's not going to go after the NIL, the collective money, and instead it's going to do athletics based on the purest form of student athlete. And UVA at this point is planting a flag saying we want to be a prominent and premier and money-backed program. The pressure that puts on this athletic department on a every year basis to fund these programs is astronomical. Mm-hmm. The football roster, Tony Elliott's football roster, is just under $30 million in compensation for this roster.
I believe it.
It's fact.
Mm-hmm.
That means this football team each year is going to have to figure out a way to generate the excitement that generates at least $30 million. And every year it's going to be more money, more money, more money.
Yep.
There's no cap. So if it's of that mindset, that is significant pressure for this athletic department. So these anonymous donations are huge. This 8-figure donation, if you make the CFP, is huge. Mm-hmm. Having some programs in the athletic department are backed by an endowment. Having an endowment is the way to really run this, where you have like 8 to 10 people contributing to an endowment every year, or you fund it so much that it spews off so much money without touching the principal.
Yeah.
Deep throat. Here's the funny thing about UVA sports scholarships. UVA makes the baseball team pay full freight. That's crazy. So for each player, UVA baseball has to come up with 40 or 90,000, depending on in-state or out-of-state. Mississippi State has to come up with like 20K. By the way, Ivy League doesn't even offer athletic scholarships. UVA baseball has scholarships for some players. Not all the players deep throat are scholarship, but a lot are. Other programs in the athletic department have partial scholarships as well. It's not all, paying out of pocket for the entire roster. There are players on UVA's baseball team that were scholarship. All right, the last information is Chandler Morris. This is from Jerry Ratcliffe. Credit to Jerry Ratcliffe of JerryRatcliffe.com. He says with Chandler Morris, they're hoping he will be able to practice Wednesday, which is the cutoff for playing against Duke. If he can't practice Wednesday, then Danny Kaelin will start. Danny Kaelin will start if they can't practice Wednesday. That was from the press conference today with Tony Elliott, which will be a part of the news cycle. I'm hitting refresh on the line.
I was just going to ask.
And see if the line has moved. 6.5. It's still 6.5. I will not be surprised if that line starts inching toward 10 plus if Kaelin doesn't play. Or I'm curious if Vegas set this line at 6.5 to Duke with the anticipation that Morris would not play and the injuries already built into the line. Probably that, frankly. That's right. They used to be limited by NCAA rules. There were set scholarships that were offered. That's for sure. All right, that's the show. Tomorrow's a big day. Today's Veterans Day. It's a big day.
Yep. Thanks to all the vets who have served this country.
Tomorrow is hump day for us, but for the veterans that served our country, we are fortunate to be able to come on this talk show and speak our mind, which is what we do every day. And it's thanks to veterans that gave us rights and abilities and upside that no other country has. I'm proud to be an American. Proud to be an American. Judah Wickower, yours truly, Jerry Miller, the I Love CVille Show on a Tuesday.